everyone. This is Yusuf and Genadiy from LINBIT. We are happy to be here with you at our YouTube series first video. We will try to shoot the video at the end of each month and share the developments of what we've got here on LINBIT just for you. Now, Yusuf, hello from Sofia, Bulgaria. I'm glad to be here with you today. Can you please tell us more about LINBIT and its products?
Hello, Genadiy from Turkey, and thanks for being here with me today. So as you know, the LINBIT is the company behind the DRBD and also the LINSTOR, and they are both open source block storage technologies. And before I start explaining what's happened in this month, I want to give you a short introduction about the DRBD and LINSTOR, especially for this first video recording. So DRBD stands for Distributed Replicated Block Device, and it's a technology that allows you to replicate the block level in any kind of Linux distribution. And it has developed by LINBIT 20 years ago, and DRBD has now become a de facto in high availability. And also you can check all the details in the video description for more detailed information.
Oh, thank you, Yusuf. We'll leave them later on underneath the video. So can you tell me more about LINSTOR? What does it do and what kinds of problems does it solve?
So LINSTOR is basically, as the name suggests, it stands for the Linux storage. And if you want to sum up in one word, it's a software-defined storage in Linux environments. And it can be integrated with the DRBD as well. And also with this integration, obviously, it has an integration with cloud-native orchestrators, such as Kubernetes, OpenShift, and so on. And it's just not well-suited for cloud-native operators. It also has a strong integration with hypervisors, such as VMware or Zen, you name it. So again, simply put, LINSTOR is the #1 way to make storage management much more easier in Linux infrastructures.
All right. So can you tell us more about the secret projects you're currently working on in LINBIT?
Yes, I can, and I will do that in each and every month, if you ask me. So before telling you about the top secret developments that took place in September, I would like to introduce a LINSTOR Days that will take place at the end of October. And in this LINSTOR Days, we try to give our audiences full of information about LINSTOR and LINSTOR operator for Kubernetes in this online event, and it will take approximately 4 days. And I especially recommend you not to miss the live demo sessions that will take in the second day. On the third day, after a case study seminar, we organized with Western Digital, and we will have another seminar where we compare LINSTOR with our competitors that I will take the lead on that one. So on the fourth day, also a case study seminar will be held with Vedos, which is the biggest LINSTOR installation ever we saw. And after that, there will be a question and answer section where you can ask unlimited questions to LINSTOR developers, which is a really rare opportunity, if you ask me. And so please register the link. I'm telling you the audience right now, so please register the link from the description and do not miss any seminars and live sessions.
All right. Well, this certainly sounds quite interesting, Yusuf.
Yeah,
now, let's get some insight from LINBIT and DRBD as well. Do you have any new releases on the way, and what kind of features are they going to have?
All right. So two very important releases took place in September. One of them for LINSTOR, the other one is for DRBD, obviously. DRBD got 9.0.24 update, a lot of bug fixes in this release. And in addition to those bug fixes, and this update promises a performance increase up to 20%. So therefore, we recommend our DRBD users to hurry up and upgrade their current version to this new one as soon as possible. And so we have one more new feature that we added into DRBD. And as you know, DRBD is a software that gives you some high availability with the combination of pacemaker. And LINSTOR is like an operator to all of it. But they are really good friends. But in between these two, which is DRBD and pacemaker, there was a slight disagreement sometimes happened. And this month, our beloved DRBD developers have come up with a very nice and elegant solution to this disagreement, what we call DRBD attribute, pacemaker resource agent. So let me give you a small introduction about this resource agent and what it does and why we need this. Where does it come from as a technical perspective? So while using DRBD and pacemaker with LINSTOR, some startup sequence problems could be experienced. Pacemaker could try to make decisions regardless of the DRBD disk status. And the pacemaker could try these decisions and doesn't look any disk status of DRBD, and which put system into a deadlock situation. So to prevent this, we discovered a very elegant method that managed solved more than one problem, basically. The solution is actually a pacemaker resource agent, what we call DRBD-attribute. And it runs as a clone set in the cluster, and it imports the DRBD's promotion scores into a pacemaker node attributes. So the advantages of this, after you enable this resource agent in pacemaker cluster, pacemaker is now aware of the healthiness of the DRBD device. So therefore, it knows which resource to move where, which node, and when. When should I move this resource to another node or something like so? It has an awareness of the DRBD devices. At the system startup, when you boot the whole cluster, a device exposes a promotion score of 0 until it's connected enough peers to gain quorum. The pacemaker waits until the promotion score is positive before it mounts the file system into that particular node. And pacemaker will aware of if any drive fails and move the file system to another node automatically after this incident happens. And also, if the system gets a fatal network partitioning and DRBD devices lose the quorum, pacemaker will stop the services in that node particularly. So in summary, I know it's kind of long, but in summary, this feature will make your systems even more automatic decisions and will definitely cause you better sleep at nights,
This certainly sounds like a good news for DRBD and pacemaker.
Yeah.
But thank you, Yusuf. But enough with the DRBD now. Now let's move to LINSTOR. I would love to hear more about it. I'm quite sure you have something interesting to say about it as well.
Yeah, we decided to make 2020 as a LINSTOR Kubernetes year. So we did a lot of improvements and new features added to this LINSTOR Kubernetes integration. But this month, LINSTOR has another great 2 features. One of them is snapshot shipping technology, and the other one is the SOS report technology that we added with the 1.8 version of LINSTOR. So let me give you a small introduction about snapshot shipping, and then I will fly over to SOS report. So snapshot shipping is basically, so as you know, it is possible to transfer data from one location to another, one node to another, in several ways. You can do it. So you can replicate the data in real time using DRBD. It will replicate block by block. When some block changes on one node, it definitely replicates the change on the second node. But there's a big problems on this setup scenario in some scenario, some situations, such as your latency might be high between these two nodes. Your internet connection might be slow. Your second disk might be slow when you compare it with the first one. So if you have these kind of problems, I mean, the not caused by DRBD, but the environment. So if you have this kind of problems, you have to come up with something else. So this is what we called, this is what we think of to solve these kind of problems, which is snapshot shipping. So basically, you have two disks again, and one of the disks is doing a replication to second disk with shipping the snapshot. What it means is you take a snapshot on the first disk, and then you move that snapshot to second node and you merge it. So this is how snapshot shipping is working. In this way, you don't care if it's actually a low bandwidth or a low latency or low disk and so on. And sorry for the bees, by the way, they're all around me.
All right, it's all right.
Even I don't have any honey, but I know I'm a cute guy. Okay, so another so another now right now we integrated this snapshot shipping into a LINSTOR. You can use it with ZFS or LVM if you like, and this is using the LVM's snapshot shipping snapshot tools and also ZFS snapshot tools. And the LINSTOR developers have been working on this feature for a long time, and now it is ready to use it in your LINSTOR installations with 1.8 version. So another feature is SOS report. So this feature provides an ease of use beyond providing an additional functionality into LINSTOR, such as snapshot shipping. It gives you a great idea of what is your cluster doing, basically. So LINSTOR is an operator, and it can use many tools together. You know, it has pacemaker, DRBD, LVM, maybe ZFS, and some other tools, right? It's like a orchestrator of all of these structures. So you manage all the layers, such as LVM, DRBD, and pacemaker with LINSTOR. If there is a problem that happens in your cluster, you need all the log files of all layers and to fully understand the problem here, what you have. So it might become a really painful for you. So since collecting the logs from one by one is a problem, you have to pick a time setting for that instant happens and so on and so on. So, and our software developers are really like you. They don't want you to struggle too much and get lost in these log files. So they developed this feature. So with a one single SOS report command in LINSTOR, you can now create a log file that can create an X-ray for your entire system, and you can easily start examinations in your LINSTOR setup. Or if you have a paid subscription with LINSTOR, obviously you will be asked for this log report, and then our LINBIT support team will identify the problem of your cluster with this SOS report.
All right. Well, all those features certainly sound very sweet to me. I do understand the bees, why they like it so much as well. But I'll be interested to hear more about the upcoming features in LINSTOR. Can you just tell me as briefly as possible about them as well?
Okay. So these are sneak peek. So we might cancel them. We might release them. This is all up to us. So there is no promising from right now, but this is what we are working on right now. So our long-standing cooperation with IBM still continues, and in addition to the existing integrations, we are now advancing our process to use DRBD and LINSTOR in new IBM solutions, and some of developers are working on that. And we also have very close relationship with Western Digital lately. And we have recently integrated LINSTOR with OpenFlex. And actually, OpenFlex is the new sexy composable infrastructure product. If if no one still yet checked, I highly suggest you to check it, OpenFlex. Also, the composable infrastructure term, I think that's the future. And these days, we are trying to take this integration one step further. And we are trying to combine OpenFlex and Kubernetes platform with LINSTOR. So when it's all will be all one single platform that you can use with your Kubernetes cluster. And we are also improving our OpenShift integration. And Red Hat's, obviously, it's the Red Hat's version of Kubernetes. It's their own perspective. And we are on the eve, actually not eve, I think as we speak, the certification is totally completed with DRBD and LINSTOR. Right now, the LINSTOR and DRBD is fully compatible and certified in Red Hat's world. So there is another feature is right now developing in LINSTOR, which what we call the codename autodisk feature, and a feature that allows you to allows LINSTOR to automatically switch to diskless mode when a disk feature occurs on the primary server, or maybe migrate some volumes from one node to another automatically, and so on. Another two features are working into the LINSTOR. One of them is Node KO. This is also a code name. Obviously, we are not very good at finding names to our features, and we are open to feature names. So please, if you have an idea, write down to the comment section so we can see and maybe we can implement it. And you will be the father of the name of that feature. So the Node KO and space tracking we have right now developing. So let me start with space tracking, and then I will jump into Node KO. The space tracking is actually also a feature that gives you a full understanding of your LINSTOR cluster. The LINSTOR cluster has maybe has thousands of nodes, and you might want to know each and every node and resource usage and like a forecast to your system. So space tracking will give you that freedom once it's released. So, and the Node KO is actually, it's a great product, a great feature that we currently develop. Let's say if one of the LINSTOR nodes stay offline for X minutes, all right, 5, 10, whatever you choose. And that node will be considered dead after that time passes. And all the resources on that particular node will be moved to different nodes. If the node connects back to the cluster, the resource on it will be automatically deleted because it's already moved to another node, right? We don't want them to duplicate in the cluster. And we will once again a step forward through full automation of your LINSTOR cluster. And this feature is currently under development, but as far as I know, it's going really good. And it has really small amount of time needed to make it production.
All right. All right. Well, certainly this sounds very exciting to me, and probably to most of our viewers as well. I will also ask for those which are watching us right now to leave their suggestions for new future names as you have proposed down below in the comment section. I'll be certainly interested to read more about it. And it appears to me that LINBIT is on the move, and I can't wait to hear what we're going to have next month. So see you until then. No problem.
See you, Genadiy. Goodbye.
See you, Yusuf.